JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 27th of October 2020. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis, so you feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now, jumping into the charts, quick update on what's happening here with the German index. And yep, the DAX is still sliding lower. I mean, not as heavily as yesterday, but nevertheless still moving to the downside. So as I mentioned to you guys this morning, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but as I mentioned to you this morning, that my next target is around this 11,957 territory, marked by the high of the 25th of June. Of course, slightly above that, we do have that psychological 12,000 territory, but of course, for now, let's continue aiming to the downside, especially if the price remains below that 200-day EMA, because don't get me wrong, we could see a bit of a reversal here back to the upside at some point, but if it stays below that 200-day EMA, then yes, the near-term outlook is still more to the downside. But if we get a nice move here back above this 12,728 territory, then yes, this is where we could start looking at some higher levels. But I'll reevaluate this level for the upside maybe a little bit later, depending on how this is going to move here. So, but at the moment, at this point in time, the 12,728 zone, that's what I'm keeping an eye on. Jumping into Dow Jones Industrial Average, and here the index is drifting lower. It's moving nicely to the downside here. It's dropping below some of these key support areas that I've mentioned previously, but yeah, for now, guys, everything's looking quite bearish here for this index. So yep, let's see how all this is going to play out. My next target here for now is the 27,338 territory right here, marked by the low of the 29th of September, and which also kind of almost coincides with the 100-day EMA here, shown as the green line. So keep your eyes on that one. The index, like I said, is in the red right now. So let's see if this one can actually drift further south. Now, talking about NASDAQ is actually in the positive territory, but let me just quickly double check that, because and it seems that on TradingView there is a bit of a problem with the pricing. No, that is fine, that's correct. So yes, so NASDAQ 100 is in the positive territory. It's if Dow and S&P are in the red, NASDAQ is still holding up there. However, it's also on a bit of a slide. So what you could do here is keep your eyes on this 11,566 territory. I've mentioned that one yesterday, and basically what I was saying, if we get a nice daily close below it, then it increases the chances for this one to move further south, and especially if the price continues to trade below the 21-day EMA here, shown as the yellow line. Now, if we, like I said, if we stay here, then yes, my next target is the 11,207 territory marked, which marks the high of the inside swing high of the 22nd of September and is near the low of the 2nd of October, or in other words, near the lowest point of October. So yep, that could be a nice potential target to keep an eye on. If by any chance the index reverses back up here and climbs above the 11,765 territory, let me just put an arrow here very quickly above there, then yes, I'll start looking at some higher levels, and maybe we could see even a move towards the 12,245 territory, which is near the highest point of October. But again, like I said, for now, everything's kind of leaning a little bit more to the downside. Another index, just a quick update. I mentioned this one this morning, the dollar index, and continues to trade below this downside line taken from the high of the 23rd of March. But of course, for now, basically, it's a little bit of a tricky one here. This morning I mentioned that there is a chance for this one to move maybe a little bit higher, especially if it still remains above this upside support line taken from the low of the 21st of October. If it does stay above this upside line, then yes, we could see this push higher. But if this downside line remains intact, then yep, another round of selling could be possible. So again, be very careful for now. Keep your eyes on this little short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 21st of October. If it continues to provide support, then like I said, we could consider a bit of a move higher here towards this downside line, and then we'll take it from there. Now, something that I don't look at very often, well, actually I do look at it very often, but I don't discuss it in my videos, and that's the VIX index. So the volatility index here, as you can see, in the past couple of days it started rising, and yesterday it popped higher here. So in a way, there is a chance for this one to kind of move further north, and to be honest, if it does that, then, well, I mean, it could apply pressure, a bit of pressure on the markets, as this index is considered to be as a fear index. So again, yeah, for now, guys, looking at the picture that we're seeing on the indices, on the US equities, yes, there is a bit of selling happening, and we can see that the VIX is trying to make its way higher, so basically indicating that yes, there is a bit of fear in the market right now. But again, it's still moderate, it's still manageable, and if you want to apply technical analysis on this index here, then you can see that we're still below a downside line taken from the high of the 15th of June, and in a way, even if it pops a little bit higher here, let's see if it gets a hold up somewhere near this downside line. If it does, yep, another slide here could be possible. Maybe then we could get back into back to normal, and the markets could also start recovering as well. So that's why for now, guys, yep, keep your eyes on this as well. Just out of, like I said, just as an additional thing for your trading. But yeah, let's see if this index pops a little bit more to the upside here, but let's see, the most important, let's see if it gets held here by this downside line. Jumping into Ripple, to be honest, not much is happening here in Ripple, unlike in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Bitcoin Cash, or Litecoin even. Ethereum, Ripple tends to be that kind of laggard here for now, and to be honest, not much is happening. So even the previous analysis that I did on Ripple still is valid. I mean, in order to consider the upside, we need to see that nice, good, strong move above that 0.26 territory. For now, we're not getting that, and even with the downside, we really cannot examine the downside until as long as the price remains above this upside line here, taken from the low of the 13th of March. So in a way, we would need to see a break of this upside line first before examining lower areas. AUDCHF. So this one is quite an interesting one. I've talked about this one previously, and previously I've mentioned this level right here, the 0.6425 zone, which initially I was saying that if it provides resistance, then yes, we could see another round of selling. The pair continued to travel above it, but it's found good resistance right here. And what previously was what I was mentioning when I was covering this pair, I was saying that this territory right here will be somewhat of a neutral one for us, because if it pops above the 0.6493 territory right here, the highlighted one, then we could consider a bit of a larger correction to the upside. For now, basically all eyes are on the on this barrier, on this 0.6493 territory, because if it continues to provide resistance as it is doing right now, then yep, another slide could be possible. However, if you're more on the cautious side, wait for a drop below the 0.6425 territory again, and then yes, we could aim for slightly lower levels. If it pushes above the 0.6493, yes, we'll aim for the upside, but we'll be very careful near this downside line, because again, don't get me wrong, if this downside line stays intact, then this whole move higher could be considered as a temporary correction before another leg of selling here, possibly, of course. But again, I'll reevaluate this one if we do get a pop above the 0.6493 territory. If we don't, all eyes are on the 0.6425 zone here. A break below it, yep, could open the door towards lower areas. USDJPY. So USDJPY is drifting to the downside. This is what I talked about this morning. Basically, this morning I was saying that keep your eyes on this one, because it could be forming a nice bullish or should I say bearish flag here. Which probably is sometimes difficult to see because it's an upside down one, but nevertheless it's a bearish flag. However, the bearish flag, I mean, the more comfortable level after a break of which we could consider the downside is below here, is below this upside line, this kind of flattish upside line taken from the low of the 31st of July, but below basically this 104.18 territory right here, 1819 zone, roughly around there, guys. A nice good drop below it, yep, could open the door towards lower areas. So for now, yes, it's kind of moving nicely in that direction, but we need some confirmation breaks first. GBPUSD. So GBPUSD is still stuck here. It's stuck above this 130 territory. Now the big question here is, can it actually move lower? For now, the psychological 130 zone is doing its trick. It's still providing good support, so let's see if it can continue doing that. If it can, and if it travels back above the 1.3083 territory right here, then yes, we could consider maybe a move higher, a bit higher. But if you want to be a little bit more on the safe side, you could wait for a pop above the 1.3173 territory. But as I said, I mean, this is a bit of a nice territory to miss out on, so that's why if it climbs back above the 1.3083 zone, yes, we'll start looking at some higher levels. Of course, we'll be very careful just in case this fails to reach this barrier and then reverses back down, but for that we always have our stop losses in place, guys, so that's why be very careful for now. Keep your eyes on this area, on the psychological 130 territory. If you want to aim for some lower levels here, then wait for at least a daily candle kind of to for the body of the daily candle to stay below the 21-day EMA, not only below the 130 territory, but also below this 21-day EMA, which, as you can see, kind of sometimes does provide support, but again, we'll be very careful for now. That's why we'll wait for that drop, a good heavy drop below the 21-day EMA, and in order to consider further declines. And finally, Euro USD. So Euro USD, again, not much is happening. The same story remains valid, because what I've mentioned this morning, I'm waiting for a break through one of these levels here, either through the 1.1867 territory in order to consider some higher levels, or a drop below the 1.1787 territory right here in order to consider slightly lower areas. But at the moment, we're not really getting any of that. So for now, that's why I'm going to stay a bit more on the neutral side. So guys, I really hope you found it useful. This was a quick overview of some of the instruments that I looked at recently and some new ones. Join me tomorrow morning, as always, on my Traders Espresso, 7 o'clock GMT time. We'll have a look at some of these ones, again, some new ones, and then we'll take it from there, guys. So yeah, have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.